Anyway, okay. Yeah, so where was I? I gotta start from the right from the beginning, right? Now, I said last week I made a video, a short, and I posted it, and there I was talking about 3 steps to success. 3 steps to success, right? In that video, I mentioned 3 milestones. That's purpose, power, and prosperity, right? And I promise to explain further what these 3 milestones stand for, right? How you can apply these 3 milestones to your life, right? And to start with, firstly, this here is content that's for believers. If you know that you don't believe in Jesus Christ and the kingdom principles of life, that's the scripture and everything in it, I don't think this video is for you in the first place. All right. But if out of curiosity you want to stay back and just watch and listen, no problem. You're welcome. Because you are in for a surprise that's going to boost your life to another level that, man, you know what? Don't let me say too much. Meanwhile, back to the topic real quick. Yeah, I talked about purpose, power, and prosperity. What do I mean by that? Yeah, when you look around the world today, you find out there's a lot of madness, a lot of craziness, a lot of chaos going on. There's so much poverty, in society. There's a lot of dysfunctionality, and all these things all tied together to a reason. And the reason is the fact that 99% of humanity have gone out of line with their purpose in life. A lot of people right now are just busy running around like chickens with their heads cut off, for a lack of better words to explain the current status of things. And I'm not saying this to knock nobody, right? Because this is what I see every single day. And it's not to put nobody down, and it's not to discourage anybody about continuing with their life, right? I encourage everybody listening or watching me right now to please live out your life. But you know one thing is for sure, it's best that you take the right steps in the right direction, right? Then you take the wrong steps in the wrong direction. Because at the end of the day, you have to go turn back and do a U-turn after missing it for years and come back to the starting point where you got to restart and start going back in the right direction. That's a whole waste of time. You can start today, right now, right? And you can start by listening to this. Now, I'm talking about purpose, power, and prosperity. What do I mean by that? I'll start like this. There is nothing in life, nothing or nobody in life that exists without a specific purpose. Take, for instance, I got a microphone here, right? It was made specifically for me to speak into it so it can amplify my voice, clarify it, and make it, audible enough for people to listen with comfort, without any kind of difficulty, right? To project better my voice through this medium called uh, either my laptop or my phone. I don't know where you're watching me from. All right. So a microphone is meant for that. All right. Now, a phone. What's a phone meant for? A phone is created to be able to communicate with people or persons at another location other than the one that you're at every moment. Meaning it helps you beat time. It helps you uh, send and receive messages without actually physically going to the place where you're supposed to have that message arrive at. I'm using too long terms. I don't even know why, right? It's meant for communication, basically. That's what your phone is for. You know, a remote control is made to control your TV set without getting off your couch. Everything has a purpose, right? The car has a purpose. The house has a purpose. A fish has a purpose, right? The same way you have a purpose. The real problem in life is a lot of people, and I would say 99% of humanity, don't know what they're meant to do in life. That's how you see a lot of people go to work in the morning. They got a frown on their face. They drive crazy. They late to work because they don't find it a thing of joy to wake up in the morning and be early and get to your place of work. You know why? Because that's not their purpose. They're not supposed to be doing that. That 9 to 5 thing, it's not supposed to be. That's not how God created mankind to function. That's why y'all hate that thing. I hate it. That's why you hate it. Nobody likes to get up early in the morning, 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m., to go work for someone else only just because so they can pay you a little bit of their money for a whole lot of your time. And you wonder why after 40 years, all you got is a 401k that don't serve you better than, you know, a few chips in the stack or something. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So the reason why you feel about that about your job is because that's not your purpose. God created mankind to function in a certain way, right? Now, if we go straight to the book of Genesis, chapter 1, 26 and 28, you'll find how God, from preceding verses, created everything else on the earth, even the sun, even the moon, even heaven itself, created everything. And then lastly, he made man and put man right there. Now, I'm going to break things down real quick. If you look at chapter 2 of the book of Genesis, where God had, the Bible talked about God's relationship with Adam and Eve, how he instructed them, gave them all the abundance in the Garden of Eden and asked them not to eat from just one tree, right? Now, that garden represents the earth, right? God made mankind and put abundance ready made for mankind to flourish with, to eat to his fill, and all mankind had to do was manage the earth, right? Now, don't let me go too far in that. That's another topic by itself. I won't go too far with that, but that's the reason why you're not happy with your 9 to 5 job, right? That's the reason why 99% of people are poor, struggling, scraping and scratching, striving, struggling hard to make ends meet. That's the reason, a lack of purpose. So the first step to a prosperous lifestyle, successful living as a Christian, the first milestone is for you to establish your purpose. Find out what your purpose is. How do you do so? Like I talked about the product and instruction manual, right? The same, what the instruction manual is to a product, that's what the Bible is to mankind. God is the manufacturer in this case. Mankind's the product. The instruction manual, that's the Bible. Now, if you look around, go on TV, social media, radio, social places like concerts and all, You rarely see people preach about the Bible, the instructions in it. A lot of people don't live by these instructions. And that's why we have all this chaos and all this madness going on. Try this out. Try this, right? Take a drive out to whatever state you are in, or whatever town. Just go downtown. Matter of fact, you know what? Just drive around the block and watch how other people drive. You see what I'm saying? They drive crazy. You know, I'm a lot in my car. I'm very flexible and I love driving a lot. So my bad though, but I rarely walk. I love cars. So I'm on the streets a lot. I go to places a lot. I go see houses. I go meet people for connections and stuff. So I'm out on the streets a lot and I watch how people drive. There's one thing that I want you to know. If you're trying to find out who a person truly is, watch how they drive. If you want to know what their type of mentality is, watch how they drive. Don't even bother listening to them how they talk. Just watch how they drive. You'll understand what type of mind frame they got, what mindset they operate in, right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people avoid of purpose. That's why they go about doing anything they like, anything that comes their way. They just dive into it full on, head first, boom, they don't care. And most times they run into problems. Most times these problems last for centuries, like generationally, right? Most times these problems end up putting them in a state where sometimes some go crazy, some go, out of their minds, some just start living life like whatever comes and goes, they don't care about it. Some turn into serial killers, some get sick and die in a hospital bed, some end up poor, raggedy and ratchety. I'm sorry saying this, but this is just the fact. I just want y'all to know a life without purpose is a life that's wasted. So first step is establish your purpose. Find out what your purpose is. And the only way you can find what your purpose is in scripture, in the Bible. Right? Now let me hop real quick to the next step, right? Get power. How do you define power? I would define power as the force that drives any object, person, or thing. Right? Now, if let's see, if I were to jump out of my seat right now and leap up into the air, right? There's a power, there's a force behind that movement, right? That's what power is. There's something inside of me that's working, operating, to give me that boost, that strength to lift off and leap into the air, right? That's power, right? And power comes from energy. Now, the fact is, when I talk about power in this context, I'm talking about the force that can drive a life that has discovered purpose in the direction of that purpose in order to succeed in that purpose, right? And that power that I'm talking about is wisdom. Let's go straight to the book of Proverbs. And I'm talking about Proverbs 4, chapter 4, and verse 7. Let me use my phone real quick. For Proverbs 4, verse 7. Right? I know the verse. I just want y'all to, hear me read it out. It says here, wisdom is the principal thing, and in all thy getting, get understanding. Right? That's Proverbs 4 and verse 7. Wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom. And with all thy getting, get understanding. What's that scripture talking about? Say, get wisdom. Wisdom is that power that you need after you establish your purpose, right? Now, it's one thing to understand what you're made for, right? It's another thing to know and learn, right? And understand how you're supposed to fulfill that purpose, right? It's two different things. So, step one, get your purpose, right? Know your purpose, establish your purpose. How do you do so? Get the scripture. Start from book of Genesis 1, chapter chapter 1, verse 26 to 28, and then hop over to chapter 2 and read the whole verse. It's right there. I'll give you a quick tip about your purpose, right? Usually your purpose is tied to the kingdom, 100%, because you were made by God, a sovereign king, right? And we know God as the God, the King of Kings. Now, when we say King of Kings, who do you think he's talking about when he says the other kings, like the King of Kings? He's talking about you. You're also a king because God reigns in heaven, his place of dominion, right? And he decided to make man in his own image and likeness, right? So if God is a sovereign king and he makes a smaller miniature, you know, prototype of himself, it's the same properties that's of God that's in that prototype, which is mankind. So that makes man as well royalty. That makes man as well a king. Now, what's the king without his own kingdom, right? So God went ahead and established the earth. He created the earth and put man right there and gave him full power and authority to rule over everything in the earth. He gave him power to get wealth. He gave him power to multiply. He gave him power and authority to have dominion over every creation on the earth. You see what I mean right now? Someone's getting a light bulb moment right now. So, like I said, mankind is exactly like God. The only difference is God is sovereign, God's the master, God is the ace, man is the replica. That's the difference. But everything that God can do, man can also do. Because we're just like the chip of the old block, so to speak. All right. So after establishing your purpose, here's a tip how to know specifically after establishing this foundational knowledge, after having a good grasp, right, of your true origins, right, how you're supposed to operate, your purpose, right? Your purpose is to operate like God, but in what area, right? Here's the tip I'm trying to give to you right now. How you know in what area you're supposed to operate in that purpose that God is giving you to function just like Him, because you have your own kingdom, which is the earth, right? And your dominion is your area of expertise, right? Now, how you know which area your purpose is supposed to function is look at yourself, think about it for a minute. What is your passion? What is that thing that you do with the greatest ease and the most joy? Once you discover that, that's your purpose. That's your purpose right there. All right. So establish your purpose. Uh, get power, which is wisdom. So wisdom shows you how to fulfill that purpose, right? The things to do, the things what not to do, how to go about them, the time frames, the time to be patient. Scripture talks about a time to rejoice, a time to be quiet, a time to speak, a time to act, a time not to act. That's wisdom. Understanding knows how to apply the wisdom. Understanding is how to apply wisdom. So we're knocking two spots off right now. Establish your purpose, get power, right? Now, that wisdom is what gives force, a drive force to you fulfilling that purpose. Now, here's the play part, and here's the ace of the whole discussion. when you are able to successfully get these first two steps down properly, the next thing that naturally comes and follows after it is, drum roll, wait for it, prosper. Prosperity. Easy as that. Because once you can get those two down pat, prosperity follows. It's a natural thing. Because let me ask you, if I don't plug this microphone properly, because I had problems initially, trying to do this live, I initially had problems, getting the connection right. Now, because I had problems getting the connection right, the microphone could not successfully function. You know, the microphone could not successfully function. That means the microphone was not successful in its purpose. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Okay. Yeah, I know you get it. Right? So, what I'm saying is, once you get the full purpose running and it's backed by power. And talking about power, this microphone can never work without connection, right? Without connection. Wisdom is the connection between you and your creator. Wisdom is the knowledge that transcends from the creator onto you, that gives you the power to fulfill purpose, right? That's the definition right there. So that's talking about power. And the next thing, once these two are in place, the next thing that follows is prosperity. Let's run to the book of Proverbs 10 and 22. I'll hit that real quick and we'll be out of here in a minute. Proverbs 10 and 22. Boom. I like to read from the King James or the New King James Version. It says here, the blessing of the Lord, it make you rich and he adds no sorrow to it at all. No sorrow whatsoever. The blessing of God. All right? Oh boy. So the blessing of God makes one rich. That's what the blessing does. It makes mankind rich. And that's the prosperity we're talking about. I'll continue with this sometime next week or 2 weeks later, like it so happens to be. But in the meantime, in between time, I'll see y'all. I gotta go. I gotta go pick up my wife from work. I gotta rush. And I just pray that someone watches this video and actually goes with the steps and instructions in here. So until then, I want to hear your testimonies. I want to hear your comments. I want feedback from y'all. And in the meantime, subscribe, like, and share this video to as many as possible. I'll talk to you guys real soon. Gotta go. Adios. Bye. See y'all. Yes, sir. Boom.